Okay, we're doing this.
Hey, welcome, guys. This is Creatures of the Night podcast.
And I'm Wendy.
Oh, and I'm Chris. Thanks for joining us.
Welcome to our humorous yet informative show.
All about ghosts.
Yes, if you were looking for other information, then hey, we may or may not have it, actually.
You might. You just have to stick around, a couple more episodes. We'll get there. Whatever it is that you're looking for. We're like Wikipedia for a lot of different things.
Right, random things.
Mostly random things.
Yeah, so you have to listen to all of it.
All of it. And then you'll be super knowledgeable, just like us.
Right. If you go to our YouTube page, which is COTN Paranormal, and you look up an episode, I always put kind of what our side notes were. If we talked about Josh Gates that episode.
Really?
Yeah, just topics that come up that I think somebody might care that we mentioned that.
Well, I'm going to, from now on, name drop Josh Gates in every episode so that you can add.
Just so he knows.
Well, he knows. He's being discussed in every one of our episodes.
Pretty much.
I saw on Instagram where he was in town recently. Where he grew up is called Manchester by the Sea. It's really cute, little fancy suburb in Massachusetts, but it's right by the sea. Obviously, Manchester by the Sea. They do this lobster cage Christmas tree every year, which I had no idea. They just do tons of lobster cages and buoys, and they wrap that whole bitch up with Christmas lights. And he's like, bam, look at that. I was like, Josh Gates, I love you.
That's talent there. That is adorable.
So I liked it, and then I tried to like it again, but then it just took the heart away. I was like, oh, I can't double like this? That sucks. I hate you, Instagram. I think that if you're really passionate about something, not just liking because you got to like it, I think that you should be able to do the double thumbs up, or it becomes, I don't know, a beaming heart or something. I don't know.
Just so it stands out, Josh Gates knows you really cared about this. Everybody else just kind of liked it.
Right. But I really liked it.
You really liked it because you really like him.
Right. But then if I see that everyone else is doing the beaming hearts, then I'll have to go the other way with it. Be like, no, it's cool. It's just whatever.
Is it whatever to get his attention? Just
right,
you've got to stand out some way. Instagram's so fun, though. You get to follow so many people. I follow a bunch of paranormal groups to see what they're doing, where are they investigating? What are they using? Because we have new things that we're planning for this year. Of course, with that, I'm always like, do I need to upgrade my gear? So I like looking at what other people got. So there's this group, and they are on Instagram as, it's ghost_town_paranormal. Pretty sure that's right.
Okay.
They must not be that far from me. I think they're Northern California or something.
Oh.
Because they hit a lot of places in that area and in Nevada. They're really active. And then they're really good about showing anytime that they get new equipment. So they were using this Phasma box. And I've seen something like this. I was on Paranormal Lockdown or whatever. I guess it's just some software. So you can't put it on your phone. You're going to have to put it on a laptop and carry it around. It's one of those where they have the radio and it's making the weird noises, basically.
Right. Did one of the guys that, when you did the Houdini episode, did he have something like that? Because I saw some dude with his laptop. Was that what that was?
Yeah, but on their Instagram page, they showed an example of them using it in some hotel on the Ghost Town Paranormal Instagram page. And it didn't sound as wonky, with the wah, wah, wah.
Yeah.
It was more clear. So I think if you adjust your settings, you can get there.
You think it's just like a haunted house effect? They're like, okay, look, this is TV, so we got to make it sound creepy crawler. So it actually, if they turned down whatever that wah, wah, wah noise is, it would be like, Stephanie is here.
Right?
They got the wah, wah, wah up. So it's like, Steph, no, ears. What?
To haunt your ears there.
Yes.
The sound and creep you out. Yeah.
That's great. Now I like it.
I don't know, because I looked it up because I thought it was an app, and it isn't. Apparently, you have to buy it and put it on your computer, and I think it doesn't even work with Apple. So I was trying to look at it, and it wasn't even it was expensive. It was $16 to get the program or something, but it was a lot more, technical shit to look at, where I gave up and was like, well, never mind.
I understand. I understand exactly what you're coming from, because I have the SLS, whatever the fuck it's supposed to be called. It's the Xbox camera, basically.
Yes.
And it works like a champ when it's connected to my laptop, but I'm like, I can't carry around my laptop and this very awkward thing so that I can chase ghosts. I need to make this portable like they do on TV. No. because I'm not that technical. You need all kinds of shit. And apparently you got to be an engineer. I don't have those skills, man.
You have to connect it to a tablet, I'm assuming, to make it portable.
I tried that. Well, okay, I don't have a very up-to-date tablet, so that could be part of the problem.
See, and that's the thing, too. Do we really want to, I don't know. That's a lot of equipment to be toting around and setting up on investigations. It is cool, but, some of this stuff is not all that trustworthy either. It would just be so much easier if it was just something in your app store that you could buy and play around with and be like, yes or no, that worked and that was fun and gave us some direction on our investigation. Yeah. Because ultimately for us, it's got to be a real experience, a really hardcore experience for us to trust that it is real.
And, again, with those things, Wendy, all it is instant gratification.
Yeah.
We do get that gratification when we go balls to the wall investigating. We've been to places like the birdcage, and we did some crazy shit at the birdcage when all of a sudden we're like, hey guys, just kidding.
Yeah, when they react in a big way for you.
So we get that experience, but we just don't have the way to, I guess, document it. Because when we're both trying to communicate, we're using our hands to, use guns or props or whatever to try and get a reaction. We're not like, I don't know, a big camera crew. We don't have the money like some of these people. You'd asked me earlier, what did you get for Christmas? Any good paranormal ghost gear or whatever? And I was like, yeah, your compass that you sent me. This is what I'm going to use. This is my new ghost hunting gear. Because that shit is expensive. I mean, you're talking $16 for a program. Fine. $16. Come on, I can do that. But if it's, again, going to take an engineer to get the shit installed, well, I don't have one of those laying around.
Well, I think it's more laziness on my part to read all the rules and regulations and requirements. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It took too much thought, so I stopped and moved to Googling what are the best ghost apps.
Screw this shit.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if we're still going to find it questionable, material and actual evidence, then what's the point of going into all that effort of toting around one of your old laptops or whatever so that we can set this up? I'd rather just go in with good cameras and audio recorders and stuff.
Also, things that take batteries that you can just replace is usually the bonus. You take a laptop, man. My laptop is decades old, but it does work as long as it's plugged into a power source. We go into places like, I don't know, Waverly, someplace that doesn't have a power source for you to plug into. And we don't even have that anymore because my laptop would be like, oh, no power. You're done in 2, 1, done.
Yeah. So I don't know. I was just thinking about what we can do differently this year and what we can play with. And so I was looking hardcore. And that was something from probably a month ago. I sound like I'm a stalker, that I was on their page and looking at shit from October.
I'm watching you.
I am a creep. I'm stalking these two people. No, they go to cool locations that are not too far. Yeah. And they seem budget friendly in the stuff that they use. So I thought they'd be a good source to kind of see, well, what have they been doing?
Yeah.
But if anybody's listening and they want to recommend to us a ghost app that we should try out, then I think maybe we could do that next time because we've never really done that before. We just kind of don't trust the apps on your phone, but it would be instant gratification and kind of fun to play with if it doesn't cost, $40 or something. Then I don't mind giving $10 to see if something works.
Right. No, I don't mind that either. But then if you have something that supports something else that's happening, then okay, then we might have a liable source here. It's like throwing the tri-field meter in at the same time that you've got the another EMF device, right? Because we do that all the time.
Yeah.
We like to make sure, okay, is this one working correctly? Why is this thing beeping and this thing's not going off? Or they're both going off at the same time? Or the Ouija board's fucking going bananas and the tri-field meter's going bananas. You've got something to support something else. So, hey, why not? I'm down for it.
It's fun to be like, we're like, is anybody here with us? And they're like, yes, Bill. And we're like, Bill did die in this house. You know what I mean? Because I'm certain we've told all our listeners this before. We are the worst at burr sessions. We're like, all right, hit record. We're going to talk for 3 minutes and we're going to listen. 15 minutes later, we're like, oh shit, stop that. We have to listen.
Yeah, I know. We need a clock that has a hand that slaps you or pinches you or something. Because we don't. When we get in the middle of things and we're like, this is going really well, I feel something. Wendy feels something, or we hear something, or something's going on. We ain't touching shit. We ain't turning nothing off because something's happening.
No, yeah. And in that time that you're playing it back, what if something happens? We don't want to miss anything. Never mind the fact that we have 4 recorders probably going on
at the same time. All the time. Yes.
One day we're going to get better at this ghost hunting thing. All right. Well, we're pretty decent at this storytelling stuff. You want me to tell you a story?
Yes. I actually love storytelling. Please tell me a story.
Okay. Oh, disclaimer. This is full of shit that I can't pronounce. So
getting that out of the way right away. That's the smartest thing to do. I need to start doing that myself.
Yeah. Corrections corner this whole podcast. How about that?
That's it.
I'm saying it wrong, and I probably won't be able to ever say it right. There you go. All right.
That's it.
So, Paris, the capital of France, if you didn't know,
I knew that.
is often called La Ville Lumière, meaning the city of lights. However, beneath this bustling European city lies a dark underground world of old caves, quarries, and tunnels stretching hundreds of miles and lined with the bones of the dead.
And this is why I have to get my passport.
Yes.
I need to see this.
This whole podcast, I'm like, this is all I ever want, is to go here. Just fall in love with all of it. So
there's so much to fall in love with. Oh, I want to go.
This is the short history with some spooky tales of the Paris Catacombs.
Nice.
45 million years ago, a tropical sea... We're going way
Are we
back.
talking dinosaurs? What? I didn't know they were part of the catacombs.
Yeah, you can find them down there. No. It's just my dramatic intro. 45 million years ago, a tropical sea covered much of northern France. And over time, the sediment of the seabed became formations of limestone.
That's all we need. We need limestone. That's it.
Yes.
Tons of limestone.
Tons. Yes. That's what does it.
That's all we need. And that stuff's cheap.
Oh my God. What if we just, it's like Ghostbusters and they have the boxes where they suck the ghost in, right? Except for we just put a stone out and we're like, yeah, just absorb into that and we'll take it home, put it in our vault. Genius. That's what we're doing.
That's it.
Chunks of limestone. That's what we need for this year.
That's all y'all need, Tennessee Wraith Chasers. See? We're just getting limestone.
Yep. They're going to do YouTube videos of us just sitting around with our block of limestone talking to it.
Staring at it, yeah. Got the Ouija board on one side, nothing's happening.
It's like our divot box. We put it all in a case. It's just a brick. Okay, so this limestone during the Gallo-Roman period began to be mined for construction of buildings. Open quarry pits gave way to nearly 187 miles of underground tunnels, which provided the stone that built the Louvre and Notre Dame.
187 miles?
And that's just a guesstimation, too.
Shit, I didn't realize it was that big.
Yeah, it covers the whole city.
Wow.
The mining utilized the technique of extracting horizontally along the vein, a process which left a honeycomb of tunnels as the city of Paris grew larger and larger. Along with mining, the tunnels were also said to be used for those that wanted to avoid tolls when entering the city, as well as smugglers and criminals who wanted to evade authorities. Of course.
We'll just go down. Yeah, right. Bloop. I'm in the sewers. Now it's the catacombs. You can't find me here. No shit. Did they end up just like dying down there if it's 187 miles long?
No, I assume they found the way out. But can you imagine you're like working down there mining and then some fucker comes rolling by running?
Sorry, don't mind me.
It's like when you're working hard at work and other people are just goofing off, but they're making the same fucking money you are. Such a bummer.
Day.
For centuries, these quarries were ill-regulated and largely unmapped. So in the 18th century, the extensive underground mining began to have consequences for the city.
Ooh.
In 1774, a sinkhole engulfed in a matter of seconds 1/4 mile of houses, streets, horses, carts, and people. Just
wow, gone. Yeah, like as soon as you said that this was like in a honeycomb pattern, like that's exactly what I thought about. Was like, shit, what if someone puts too much weight on top of it? Well, apparently it's not a good idea because the horses are gone now.
It's a bad idea. So the site of the sinkhole was, here we go with that French, Rue des a fur. Now, if you say it faster, it'll sound better. Rue de fer. Nope, that's not right. Rue de fer.
Yeah.
Anyways, look, I spent 2 years in French, guys, and I have a Southern accent, so I'm sorry.
Well, doesn't rue mean red in French?
I think rue means street in this case, and affaire, if I'm saying that right, it means hell. So this was the street of hell. Some nut jobs, of course, thought this had all kinds of meaning to it, and they began worrying that this was the end days.
Yeah.
Several minor cave-ins followed. The panic spread in the city. Louis XVI responded by creating an inspection unit for the quarries below Paris and surrounding plains, headed by General Inspector named Charles Axel Guillemot.
Oh, I like his middle name. Axel.
I know. It's good. I like that one a lot. He was tasked with regulating the quarries for the purpose of public safety. It was Charles who initiated the first mapping of the quarries network and began consolidating existing spaces and regulating further mining activities.
Oh, good. Yeah, someone needs to.
Finally, it's going to be all wild down there.
Leave it to Axel.
A subterranean town planning system was established whereby chambers and tunnels were named in relation to the streets above them, thus creating a mirror city underneath Paris.
Oh, that's crazy.
It is crazy. It was also Charles who oversaw the idea of using the quarries' voids for purposes of storage. Eventually, the quarries were abandoned, and they became the best solution to Paris's growing public health problem, which was that the whole damn city was beginning to stink.
Ew.
It may have been one of the largest and most prosperous cities in the Western world, but by the 17th century, enough people had lived and died in Paris that its cemeteries were overflowing, to the point that corpses at times became uncovered. Those living in Les Halles neighborhood near Les Innocents, the city's oldest and largest cemetery, which had been in use for more than 10 centuries.
I am so glad that you know French. I cannot wait for us to go to Paris.
It's so bad. They're going to be like, stop it.
I'm like, whatever she said, that's what we're doing.
So this cemetery was the oldest and the largest. It had been used for 10 centuries. That neighborhood was the first to begin to complain. They reported that the cemetery exuded a strong smell of decomposing flesh.
Whoa.
Improper disposal of corpses led to unsanitary conditions that contributed to the spread of disease.
Yeah.
Now, this problem actually began back in 1763 during Louis XV's reign. He issued the banning of all future burials from occurring inside the capital. But because the church gave him pushback, not wanting any current cemeteries disturbed or moved, nothing else was done.
Oh, I thought maybe Louis just went out there with some like baking soda and was like, shut up. It won't stink anymore.
No, they were like, we need to get rid of all these cemeteries, move them out. We need to put up pretty fancy buildings. And the church was like, no, you can't do that. That's not right. And then it got smelly. And then everybody was like, okay, maybe we do have an issue. So Louis XVI pushed for the idea of all cemeteries to be moved outside of the Paris city limits. However, it took until 1780, after a prolonged period of spring rain caused a wall around Les Innocents to collapse, spilling rotting corpses into a neighboring property, for the churches to finally say, yeah, okay, I guess we need to change some things around here.
Holy shit. Can you imagine? I mean, what if that's your property? You're like, I don't know, baking bread?
You hear a noise, you look out the window, and you're like, what the fuck?
Dead bodies everywhere. How do you even react? You don't like pick up the phone in 1780?
No.
Like what do you get on your horse? You send your son out? What the fuck do you do?
Yep. You send the kids out. You stay in the house. This bread is not going to bake itself.
Exactly.
So, to save the living, the city needed a better place to put their dead. Authorities shut down St. Innocent Cemetery and began to move the remains to the tunnels, 5 stories below the city of Paris.
That's a long way down.
It is. So once you put all your dead down there, you're not going to know they're there.
So, like, how are they, like, carrying the bodies down? I mean, do they just, like, throw them over their shoulder and they just start down a ladder? Like, how does this work?
Well, let me tell you about that. Given the religious nature of the original burials, they could not simply be dug up and thrown all willy-nilly either.
Well, good. Thank God.
The church urged that they be reburied with some form of ritual. So for years, every night, black-draped carriages passed through the city, transferring human remains to their new underground destination.
I love this.
A priest would follow every wagon load of remains in order to chant the Catholic Office of the Dead prayer to ensure that the souls of the dead remained at peace.
You don't know that prayer? Come on.
That didn't even make sense to me. Office of the Dead? Is this like in Beetlejuice where they go to get help, you know?
Sure. Tim Burton was a mastermind, but apparently he stole that one.
He must be Catholic. Yeah, I did not know that one. I thought that was a weird title. But apparently it keeps everybody at peace. Or so they thought. Transferring the bones from St. Innocent's Cemetery took 2 years. Then between 1787 and 1814, bones were transferred from other Parisian cemeteries as well. The bones of millions of people were ultimately relocated to the catacombs. During the Revolution, people were buried directly into the catacombs.
Right.
But after that, when Napoleon marched into power, it's said he inherited a medieval city that was in the throes of a rapid modernization. One of Napoleon's key beliefs was that men are only great through the monuments they leave behind. He decorated his reign with a number of public works and pieces of arts.
Yeah.
Given that Rome, which was considered the foremost monumental city in Europe, had already opened their catacombs to the public with huge success, Napoleon decided that France needed something similar.
Yeah.
He commissioned artists and architects to turn the quarry tunnels into something that people would want to go down and see.
Love it. It's like, how can I make money off of these dead guys?
Yeah.
Well,
in Rome, they were heavily decorated already and like in a lot better shape than these quarry tunnels. It wasn't even an official catacomb, you know? So he was like, go down there and, you know, fix it up and let's open that shit up.
wow. So before he went down there with his ideas, I mean, were the bodies just like stacked or just thrown about? Like, I mean, was it because of him that they're just like in the walls and such?
Right. Yes.
Yeah.
It was these artists and architects that he hired because before that, despite all the rituals that had been done to transfer the bones down to the tunnels, they were pretty much just dumped down there in large heaps.
That makes no sense because it seems like they went through like a huge performance to, you know, be very respectful and carrying the dead. So that they basically were like, yeah, this is for everyone to see. We're doing this, blah, blah, blah. Everything's good. Everything's good. Okay. Nobody's looking. Bloop. They just dump the body and then, all right, let's go get the next.
They dump their wheelbarrow and then they just, they got to go back and get more.
Wow. That's fucked up. Damn.
Yeah, but slowly but surely, the quarrymen working on the project created something extraordinary.
Yeah.
They lined the walls with tibias and femurs and skulls. They created whimsical designs and shapes like hearts along the walls and columns.
No shit.
Yeah, they got artistic with it. They didn't just stack them all up and been like, this looks good. They tried to like put in some artwork to it. They also erected signs which served as commemorable plaques, and they put up other marks for religious beliefs, you know, crosses and whatnot. They also included some arrows carved into the ceiling so that visitors would not lose their way when they came down there.
Oh, that's nice. Thank you.
That was practical.
Did they use bones for that too? Or?
They did not. I think they are just arrows. But it actually didn't say, so I don't know.
We'll have to check that out for ourselves.
They have plenty of bones down there. They could have.
Yeah, right. Whose are these? I don't know. They're just extra arrows. People will need to find a way out, so extra.
The Paris catacombs soon gained a reputation as the most macabre place to visit in the city. The catacombs hold the artfully arranged remains of 6 to 7 million Parisians.
Shit.
Above the entrance of the ossuary, which, if you didn't know what ossuary means, it literally means a container or room in which bones of dead people are placed.
I didn't know that. Actually, I just thought it was a fancy word for like cemetery, but now I know more. Thank you.
Yeah, I just thought if we know the meaning now, we could throw that word around a bit more.
Yeah, my next cat. That's what her name's going to be.
What?
I wish you could have seen your face.
Don't do that. So above the entrance is carved into stone are the words. I'm not going to say the French for you. It's too long. It would be terrible. So, but it translates to stop. This is the Empire of the Dead.
Wow.
That's cool.
That is cool.
I bet if you said it in French, it'd be even cooler, but not when I say it.
Well, I think it sounds pretty awesome in English. I could just see Gandalf sitting there like, with this riddle. Like he's looking at it. It's in Elvish. That is really wild. Hey, how does it look? Is that in bone? Is it carved in something?
It's carved into it. I mean, there's an archway to the door, and it's carved above the archway.
Okay.
It's really cool looking. Over the years, in order to entice more visitors, various exhibits were installed in the catacombs. These include a room showcasing skeletons with various deformities. Some people got a kick out of that shit. Circus sideshow type stuff.
Oh, I do. But I have a question. So these were like people with actual deformities, or did they make them have deformities?
I guess they had actual deformities. The thing is this room, plus they had a room that showed the different types of minerals that would have been found down in the tunnels. They don't exist anymore.
Oh.
So they've collapsed or they've filled up with water or whatever. So you can't get to these rooms or these exhibits anymore for us to clarify.
How? Well, that'd be like me with my extra bones in my feet, right? I'd be in that room. You're like, this one, what is that?
But so many of the bones are just piles of bones. So how did they even know they were deformed?
Right. True.
So it is confusing as whether they put it together as deformity or if they found some very interesting skulls that were still in one piece. Or, I mean, that's the only I can think. Like, you're going to get a femur that's in a weird shape.
No, it sounds like some Fiji mermaid type shit that you go to like the, the little off circus that comes to town every 2 months or so. Yeah, that's what that is.
Right.
You give them like $1.25. You can go see some weird shit in that tent. Maybe you don't want to go, but something says you do want to go.
It's just $1. Come on. Satisfy your curiosity, of course.
Go see it.
So they also used to have goldfish in a little pool called the Samaritan Fountain. The fountain's still there, but the goldfish are long dead. As it turns out, goldfish don't exactly thrive underground, as they don't thrive anywhere, right? We've all had those carnival goldfish.
I love those goldfish.
That live for like a week.
So did they leave the carcasses in there? I would assume that they did, since this is the catacombs.
Yeah, why not? Where else are we going to put them?
They're already in the grave, so to speak.
Yep.
Ow.
But the most endearing of the Paris Catacombs side exhibits are the series of stone carvings created by a man named Decoeur. He was a veteran of the French army, and he worked with a team of quarrymen to stabilize the tunnels. But in his free time, he carved renderings of the Citadel of Mohan, maybe?
Yeah.
As well as other important buildings from the island of, I don't know. Let me ask Chris.
Menarca?
Yeah, sure. We're going to say that. He was stationed there for a time, so he was really digging this island that he was at. So in his spare time, while he was working down in the quarries to stabilize them, he would make these little art projects of the buildings that he remembered from the islands. It's sweet. It's a fond memory that he had, and he enjoyed doing this. Now, this is just one of the many art projects that you can find in the catacombs from people that just came in and did their little art.
Yeah.
The thing is that Decoeur was killed in a rock fall while working in the catacombs.
Ooh.
So many see his art as kind of a monument to him, of course, and others who had worked to maintain the catacombs over the decades.
Well, that's not really fair. He made his own monument to him. What the fuck, guys?
I don't know that he did it on purpose.
No, but they're like, well, he was already in the process, so he did it for himself. Good job, guy.
But what's funny is, so it just looks like a little bitty castle or whatever that he's made.
Huh.
But if you go to the parts that aren't seen by just the regular visitors coming in for a tour, you'll find other artwork like that as well. But his is like a big deal because it's on the tour route and he died there. So.
Gonna take an EVP.
Oh, yeah. And to go say his name wrong and everything.
Oh, yeah. That
and
totally
the island he loved. I wonder if he'll just read my card for me.
Let's play charades with the ghosts.
Yeah. Can you
what
say
card
this
am I
for
holding
me?
up?
So like I kind of just hinted at, only a small portion of the tunnels are open to visitors today. The entire length is more than 200 kilometers and extends beneath a large part of the city. Exploring the unofficial catacombs has been against the law since 1955.
Wow, really? Is it because it's unsafe or because they're all like, no, you don't get to see these cool parts of the catacombs?
No, they are ridiculously unsafe.
That's too bad. I bet Josh Gates would go.
I bet he would. And I tried to look to see if he did. I didn't find anything. So I Googled it, though. Paris Catacombs, Josh Gates. Nothing came up. So if I'm wrong about that, somebody correct me.
Josh Gates, you should correct us.
Lots of people do still go down there, though, despite this rule.
Oh, it's not like gated up like the caves at St. Louis?
Yes and no. This covers a large part of the city. And there is some places to access it, like down in businesses' basements or...
I love it. Indiana Jones style.
Right.
Yes, please.
Or just like kind of randomly somewhere. I mean, like there's open grates that look like sewer tunnels, but then there's also just fucking holes in walls off of offshoots from buildings and whatnot that people climb in to get in. So the police and the officials try to go around and close up as many as they can.
Right.
But I guess they're not aware of all of them yet.
Yeah, you got to be a local or you got to know a guy that really knows this whole situation in order to get down deep, I think, right?
Right. Mm-hmm.
Okay. They're watching.
They're trying. It's a lot of space to cover. So people do still get down there. And just in 2017, 2 teenagers had to be rescued from the catacombs after being lost in the vast network for 3 days.
Stupid. Come on. Haven't you heard of breadcrumbs, guys? What the
They're
hell?
teenagers. They didn't bring shit, I'm sure.
I know. They were smarter than everyone. They got this. They're going urban exploring.
So they were rescued by rescue dogs, and they were taken to the hospital for hypothermia.
Damn.
Yeah.
You know what, though? Oh, hold on. I wonder how the rescue dogs really feel about the catacombs anyways. It's a whole bunch of bones. They're dogs. I mean...
So,
you know,
from what I saw from videos, not all of it is covered in bone. Wow. So maybe they weren't in those parts. I don't really know. But you have a point. Very distracting. Yes.
Very distracting.
So, not to mention the fact that you could get ridiculously lost.
Yeah.
There are rats down there.
And
they're
cute. No.
There is still the chance of collapse as well in areas. Yeah. So that's their biggest concern.
That's my biggest concern also. Yeah.
Yep.
Not down with that sort of thing.
They do still have collapses, like even today.
Right. Because there are parts that they're telling you guys, we ain't fucking with this part of the tunnels. Y'all shouldn't either.
Right.
So that's a good enough warning for me. I'll take some pictures. Okay, good. That's the part I couldn't go into.
You'll take the tourist route and that's it.
Yeah. I am adventurous to a point, but when it comes to I might die, no, I couldn't.
Not so much.
Around rats? Yeah.
Well,
no way.
There are tons of thrill seekers that see this as no problem. And they still venture into these cavernous passages. They don't care.
Thank you for your wonderful patronage, people. That means there got to be some pictures out there then of all of these things that they've explored, right? I would assume.
Absolutely.
Nice.
Now, a good part of the people that are going down there, they are just going down there to fucking hang out, basically.
Oh.
The water table has risen under the city, so a lot of spaces are filled with water. Now, this is clean, cool water. It's some kind of spring water underneath the city. So locals are aware of this, and they will illegally enter the tunnels in the summer months or when it's warm just to fucking go swimming.
It's a swimming hole.
Yeah.
Sure.
Then there's the people just hanging out down there. In 2004, a group of police officers were exploring a part of the Paris catacombs restricted from the public access when they started hearing sounds of dogs barking. Turns out that it was just a recording playing over a PA system, which they assume was just a form of security for the 3,000 square foot space of gallery that they found that was wired with phones with pirated electricity from above. It also had a bar, a living area, a workspace, a lounge, and a cinema with room for 20 people to sit down.
This is epic. Somebody really made a killing off of all that space.
Fuck yeah, they're having some kind of secret party down there, you know? Imagine what they were charging. They also had fucking cameras hanging from the ceilings that the police officers were pretty sure was recording them.
Ooh.
So they get out of there and they come back a few days later with a larger team so that they can further investigate, but none of the shit was there anymore.
Damn! These guys are super like undercover, underground.
Yeah, like one of those moving secret societies or something like that.
Oddfellows. That's crazy.
So the people had left behind a note which read something like, "Don't search," or "Don't search for me."
And that's it. That's so funny. Look, cops, don't come a-looking.
I don't even think the cops were even going to do that. I think in this case, so many people go down there just to chill that they're like, what the fuck ever. I'm glad you got your shit out.
Right.
Like we've been telling you, it's not safe.
Right.
So, of course, there are people hanging out underground into some shady shit or maybe just partying. But there are those that just enjoy the thrill of exploration. They've got a name for them. They're called cataphiles.
Oh.
I know. Not exactly something I would be like, yes, that's an awesome group name. Let's all take that.
Cataphiles.
Yep.
Okay.
Then there are, of course, the sweet, innocent paranormal nerds that are just trying to find some ghosts.
I like them a lot.
Some of those visitors have reported the feeling of being touched by invisible hands and being followed. Legend has it that if you are inside the Paris catacombs after midnight, the walls begin to speak. Disembodied voices will try to persuade you to venture deeper and deeper into the catacombs until you can't find your way out.
What about the arrows? But they're still up there, right?
But they're in the tourist section, not in the unrestricted section. They never even developed that part. So the only people going down there are these urban explorers, cataphiles, people going down there using the space to have their parties or whatever. There's tons of graffiti. There's artwork.
Wow.
It's kind of something to see.
Oh, yeah. Sounds like I would like to see it, except rats and danger.
Yeah. I'm not down with the people that you might run into.
Yeah, those creeps are there. Mm-mm.
So the fact that the people think that there's voices telling you to come and get lost, that may explain how so many have found themselves lost within the maze of tunnels, and for some, it hasn't ended so well. During the French Revolution, a man named Philibert Asbir, a doorman of the Val-de-Grâce Hospital.
What?
Val-de-Grâce?
Did you say Voldemort? He shall not be named.
Can't say his name. No. Val-de-Grâce. That's a hospital, and he was the doorman there, but he had heard the stories about a hidden liquor vault.
Oh, fuck yeah. Count me in. Let's do this.
Right? So now you're down with it. Apparently, the hospital might have, like near the hospital that he worked at, there was an entrance to get to where these monks were storing like shit back in the day. So he goes down there and he's looking in the catacombs for this hidden cellar. He wandered the corridors with just a single candle. He did not plan this out.
He's like down there with his one shaky, tiny little candlestick, wavering. The flame could blow out at any moment. And he's just looking for the cellar with all the booze.
Many believe that there's a good chance that Philibert may have already been a bit intoxicated when he came up with this plan, so he wasn't quite in his right mind.
No, I don't agree with that. No, sir.
He just was out to solve a mystery with his one candle.
One candle.
He quickly became lost and confused. And Philibert was never seen again. Not for 11 years at least, when a group of urban explorers, or cataphiles, uncovered his body.
Where did they uncover his body?
Only 30 meters from an exit.
Damn. I don't know what meters means, but I assume pretty close.
I think close. Yep.
Close enough that he could have made it out, but he must have been in the area where he shouldn't have been.
Right. And those walls were talking to him, and he couldn't get out. Or he's drunk. I don't know.
Well, drunk and the walls are talking to you. I mean, then you got some problems. And you got that one shaky fucking candle. What if the candle burn out? And he's like, well, fuck. Now I just have to listen to these voices on the walls to get me out of here. And they're like, go. And he gets a little tired. It's time for a snooze, right? He was so close and the walls are like, just keep going. Hey, get your ass back up off the floor. It's right there. 30 more meters, man. He's just like, I'm going to take a little nap.
Yep.
But
the urban explorers identified him by his hospital key that he had on his belt. So that's how they know who he was. Philibert is still buried in the catacombs. They just left him there in the same place where he died. But they did erect a tomb for him in the spot.
So it's like you're walking like through the catacombs and you have to like against the wall, you have to like suck it in and shit to pass by.
I don't know. I actually saw a video where people had kind of entered into the space where that's where his tomb's at. And it's a decent sized room. Oh. So I don't think it's in the way.
I hope they didn't like have to clear away some of the other skeletons. They're like, okay, all y'all, sorry. This guy right here, he's important. So just push you to the side. You're going to become an arrow. You'll be, over here. You look deformed. So maybe in the other room for you.
Oh, they might have moved him. Because I didn't see any skeleton either. They were just like, this is Philibert's room. This is where they're here, like trying to contact him. Nobody looked around and said, there's his bones or nothing. So yeah, I think that those bitches got moved. But nobody wanted to say that or admit it.
Right. They buttoned that lip.
So many people believe that his spirit remains there within the catacombs in that space that he passed.
Oh, I wonder what his spirit is doing. Is it like, I'm just looking for my whiskey, or what is it that they drink in France? It's not whiskey, I'm sure.
Well, I thought it was wine, like being monks and stuff, but saw another video where some people were down there and they found a bottle and they just said it was liqueur. They didn't call it a wine, and I thought that was odd.
Ooh, or maybe like raspberry liqueur. That shit's delicious, especially when you put a sprinkle of it in some champagne. Yes, then monks knew what was up.
I imagine Philibert is a fun spirit because it seems like a lot of people go and that's what they do when they're in his space is they kind of like
just drink with him.
Yeah, they bring a drink and they just kind of party and hang out waiting for him.
Aw, I like that. That's cute.
So the strangest story by far comes from an unknown source. In the early 1990s, a group of cataphiles were walking through the dark chambers of the ossuary when they happened upon a video camera on the ground.
Oh, no. Stop. Seriously?
Yeah. And then they get it home and they're like, ooh, this is kind of disturbing. They all watch this video and it's someone holding a camera. They never see his face and he's not with anybody else. They hear some very disturbing noises.
Oh.
And the man seems to be very panicked as if he's lost and doesn't know how to get out of there.
I want to do this. Can we drop stuff like this off when we go to the catacombs? We are doing this.
Yes.
This is amazing.
So the video ends abruptly with the man dropping his camera and running the fuck out of there. I think you can even see like his feet. Trot, 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 and he's getting the fuck out. To this day, nobody knows who that man was or if he made it out alive. So the cataphiles took this footage to filmmaker Francis Freeland. He has gone on multiple interviews sharing the footage, and he even's gone down into the catacombs himself and tried to explore the areas that they saw on the footage to check them out and see if anybody's there. He has multiple times asked for whoever the owner of the footage to come forward, and nobody's ever come forward.
Okay.
You can find some of his earliest interviews on YouTube, but it was part of an ABC special that the little lady from Poltergeist narrates.
Seriously, I love her.
Yes. Didn't take the time to look up her name.
Did she do that? This house is cleared. Did she do that?
She didn't do that, but you absolutely know it's her voice. And like,
oh, yeah.
They should have had her narrate so many other things.
So many things. Oh, that's so crazy. This was an ABC, you said, made for TV special or something?
So I found it on YouTube, but it says ABC Family, actually, special.
Wow. That's like, I mean, they play like Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer on ABC Family.
I know. Like, I don't really know how that worked out, but that's what it said. I'm just telling you the truth so you can find it.
Okay. That's my kind of family special.
So after watching multiple video clips on YouTube, it's easy to see how one could become lost down there, as well as how easy it would be for no one to find you if they just simply never traveled in the same direction as you. But there are people, these cataphiles, that know what they're doing. They've mapped out the way, and even though it looks like a labyrinth to you, they know exactly where they're at. They're the people to get to know and hang out. It's just finding strangers to do this with, you know what I mean?
Right.
That whole thing of trusting the living. Ugh.
Yeah, that's a tough thing for us. Man, could you imagine living there, growing up there, and like learning this shit all on your own? knowing those catacombs like the palm of your fucking hand, I mean, that would be amazing.
Amazing. I mean, there were some odd individuals that were down there, but it's also like I've gone spelunking before, and this is like that times 1,000.
Right.
Because this one you're finding like amazing artwork and interesting areas because you see people have come down here and inhabited it and now they're not here anymore. Or then you find bones. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So if you're listening to this and you're thinking of planning a trip down to the catacombs, I urge you to watch other people's videos first to prepare yourself.
No shit.
So I, of course, now need to go there.
Yo.
As I always fall in love with every location we research. So I first watched a video on YouTube by a YouTube channel called Nightscape, because the title was like Paris Catacombs Gone Wrong. These guys were super honest about what not to do, basically.
They're like, this is the shit that we did. Don't do this.
They were like, yeah, we fucked up. They went down there by themselves, no guide. They weren't dressed appropriately because it's, like I said, very wet down there. So, and there's lots of small spaces that you're having to climb through. And they had worn just their regular day clothes. And they're like all worried about getting them dirty or like getting their shoes messed up. And you can't when you go down there. You have to be prepared to like, I'm going to throw these fucking clothes away when we're done.
And then hose yourself down before you go inside.
They didn't have the right gear, like a compass or extra batteries for their flashlight. So they were just not prepared, and they admitted to it. They didn't spend a whole lot of time down there. They ended up hearing strange noises, and they decided they couldn't go any further. They turned the fuck back and left.
Whoa.
The next video I watched, which came from Kristen and Saya, it's Siya.
All right.
Okay. So that's their YouTube channel name, and they're an adorable couple that lives in like a tiny home, and they have a baby, and they're just so, they travel all the time. They're just fucking great, right?
I love how you say it like disdain.
I'm so jealous. She's not in the video. It's just him along with some other guys. These guys had their shit together. They came with guides that knew their way around. They brought all kinds of the right gear, and they ended up staying there for like hours, like 9 hours. There's something crazy. They got to see amazing urban artwork like I told you about in all the restricted areas, and they made their way to this section of where it's like large amount of bones, but it's not the tourist section. This is like the leftovers, and they're just piled and piled and piled up like to the ceiling.
Oh my God. So the water didn't affect that area?
They went through some water. They went through like knee-deep water in some sections, but where the bones are at, there wasn't any water. So it like
that's crazy.
Comes and goes just depending on where you're walking through. But they had to travel like 3 hours in to finally get to where these bones are, and then they had to travel back out. That's why I say they were down there for like 9 hours. It's just like a hike. You hike in, you gotta hike back out.
Those are some miles. I hope they wore their Fitbits because they got them steps in that day.
And of course, like I said, they ran into fucking people while they were down there. People that were just chilling and drinking and smoking. That's a common event that I saw in all these videos that I watched. So be warned, if you are one like me that is, like I said, more scared of the living than the dead, you will run into people down there.
So you got to get your French on so you know how to tell those people to fuck off. Excuse me. We got some ghost hunting to do. Fuck off. You know?
Well, I think this is where those cataphiles come in handy, because most of the time they're like locals. Like you said, they're people that have been down there. They interact with these people all the time. These might be other cataphiles. So like they kind of do the talking for you.
Yeah.
But speaking of the dead, there has been a few paranormal investigators to brave the catacombs and walk away with some cool ass evidence. And they happen to be some of my favorite investigators too. First off, our favorite globe-trotting paranormal girl, Amy, from Amy's Crypt. She explored the restricted section of the catacombs with her pal Jarrett and a guide. Chris, I mean, you've already said it. You don't think you could really get down there because of all the everything I've told you. But you had to have seen Amy climb through this bucket-size hole in the wall. That right away, I was like, I don't think I can do that.
No, that's one of those things. I can't do that, guys. More power to her.
She is balls to the wall. And then later, she sees a rat. You don't see it, but she sees it because she notes it to Jarrett. She says, oh, I just saw a rat. It was cute. What?
And here I am thinking it's going to chew out my eyeballs.
Right.
She's like, that's cute. In her Australian accent.
Exactly. You have to remember she's from Australia, where they have all kinds of fucking beasts there.
And here I am talking about this itty bitty little tiny spider crawling across the snow. In Australia, they've got spiders the size of like your chest.
Yes.
The whole thing. And it just like wraps its arms around you, gives you a nice warm spider hug.
Death hug.
And you're dead. She's used to that sort of shit.
Of course she thinks a rat's cute.
Yeah.
I watched this little time-lapse video. It was like a trough, I guess, or some irrigation thing in the middle of a field. And the time-lapse was to show you all the different animals that come and drink out of it. You know it's Australia because like a kangaroo and then like a wallaby but then it's all these birds, right? So cute little kangaroo and all these pretty birds. They end the video with basically a fucking Komodo dragon. I mean, that's not what it was, but it looked like a fucking Komodo dragon coming up and putting half its body into this trough. And so like, yeah, she sees a rat and she's like, that's adorable.
Kidding, or whatever kind of cryptid that's in Australia, they just fucking captured. I mean,
yeah.
And Australians are like, yeah, we see that thing all the time. Whatever. She sees a little squeaky, furry, covered, tiny little thing compared to the Komodo dragon that comes up to troughs and drinks. Yeah, she's cool.
So she traveled like miles through the tunnels. They got through the artsy section, and then she got back to the piles of bones. Wow. And this is a section where, and this is what the other guys had to do too, you basically have to climb on top of it. You're walking on these bones, and then you're climbing up on these bones if you want to look deeper into like another room or whatever. So at times she's just kind of like laying on piles of bones.
There's no way I could do it, man. I couldn't do it. Look, more power to her because she's an authentic explorer. She's, like you said, balls to the wall. She's going for it. I think even after all of the whatever else you had to get to this point, I'd have to stop right there. That would be it for me.
It'd be really rough. I would think so. But she goes in and she does a spirit box session. Nothing really happened during the session, but right afterwards, there was an unexplainable sound that was on her recorder. And then as they made their way back to their entrance, you know, they're having to trek those miles back, they got a laugh on their audio while they were just kind of stopped and resting for a minute.
See? They didn't even have to crawl over those bones.
No, when they got back more towards, I don't know exactly where she was, but it was on her way back to the entrance. And then they stop in like just a room, basically. They weren't on a pile of bones. And then she decides to do an EVP session. She got multiple unexplained sounds or voices. Now, they're really soft, and she called them unexplained sounds or voices because I imagine she couldn't make out exactly what they were saying. And you do have to wear headphones to hear them.
All right. They're very quiet.
Yeah, they're quiet, but you can tell I was not listening with headphones, and with some of them, I could hear it. I could hear there's something there, but you could not make it out, really. You just know something's there, and nobody else was around them at the time.
Yeah. Well, it might be tough to make out, too, because it might be in a different language.
There is that, too. And she was also using this app on her phone, like we were talking earlier. It's called GhostTube, and you can set it to a language. So she set it to French, and they got 2 responses in the whole time that they were trying to use it down there. One was a popular name, Arieli, and the other was simply the word him. And that's the only 2 things they got. And, you know, like I said, they got it in French at the time, so they had to like go and translate it afterwards. So in the real time, they didn't even really know what was being said. I guess their guide wasn't helping them.
You guys just get DeepL, DEEPL. You can put anything you need to in there, and it'll come out with to whatever language you need to. Just select which language you need. DEEPL. It's great. There's also Google Translate. I'm just saying there's ways to get around it.
I think the issue was that they don't have internet down there. Because I thought that too. Like,
does that mean they didn't have Verizon?
I can laugh with you now about
I know. I love it.
Fuck you, AT&T. Just playing. If you want to sponsor this show, AT&T,
right,
that was
totally
great.
About
it was a great 20 years of my life. Thanks.
We'll take you back.
So,
love you.
Overall, I think her time there was pretty interesting and was definitely an experience you could tell that she would never forget.
Her experiences everywhere are ones that you will not forget. She is just amazing. She goes places that we wouldn't go. We would get almost there and be like, yeah, that's fucked up. We're going to stay right here. This is cool. We're good. We'll try to communicate with the dead right here. Yeah, no, she's awesome. I love that you got to see one of her videos in relation to this.
Yeah, well, get this. for this podcast story, this is how I kind of found it. I just happened to see a really small little blurb on the Catacombs, and I was slightly aware of them, and I love the story, and I love the idea of exploring this place. It's extremely exciting to me in that sense that I'm not very comfortable with it. I don't know how I feel about being around all these bones and remains, and I really saw it as like, oh my God, if I ever had this opportunity, I don't know how I'd feel about it. What a challenge that would be. So I became very interested in the story, and I thought, okay, this is definitely, I want to do this. And I checked online, any paranormal people been there? Have they found any evidence? I saw that Amy's crypt had been there, and I thought, check. I love her work. This is great. This is all I need. The history, I'm going to watch her video. I'll watch a few Urban Explorer videos, and then I'm done. And this morning, I was watching a few of those Urban Explorer videos, and I was finalizing my school paper for this podcast, and my youngest says, Ghost Adventures has been there, right?
Stop it! Seriously?
I'm like, is my fucking child schooling me on Ghost Adventures history here?
Oh my God.
He was totally fucking right. Because I'm like, no, that's Edinburgh you're thinking of. I'm certain they've not been here.
How did you not know this, Wendy? You're like the biggest fan. Serious to God, you're like the biggest fan. We were talking earlier about if you could do like double hearts on shit, just to let you know. This would have been Wendy 10 years ago. Like as soon as they fucking came out, she's the biggest fan. I can't believe you didn't know that. How have we not talked about this?
I don't know if I didn't know it or if I didn't remember it. But yes. Zach Bagans in a Ghost Adventure special. So it was just Zach. And it was a special called Netherworld Paris Catacombs. And somehow my fucking kid knew this and I didn't.
Right. How did I know this and you didn't know this?
I don't know. I don't know what happened here. So I totally, of course, then had to watch the episode. I found it on Daily Motion. If I don't know if you've ever watched stuff on there before, it's awesome because the shit's free and obviously illegally uploaded because even though the quality of the video is great, all their voices have been altered.
Wait,
so Zach sounds like he's 12.
Maybe that's where I saw it too. And the voice is just a higher pitch, like helium voice, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, in his episode, it was really good, actually. Zach explored the history and he interviewed those who had experiences down there. This one dude named Nick Plack claimed to be down there in the catacombs partying when someone in the crowd thought it'd be fucking hilarious to set off a smoke bomb. So everybody runs off. Nick got kind of separated from his friends, and then a ghostly hand appeared, and that somehow guided him back to his friends.
Creepy.
Zach also found some urban legend of a woman that mistakenly went down into a basement level of a building, or she pushed a button on the elevator, but the elevator was like, nah, bitch, you go into the basement. And it was possessed or haunted, and it takes her down to the basement, and when the doors open, some kind of beastly man, maybe, grabbed her and then drags her into the catacombs and keeps her in a cage.
See, and that's exactly why we will not go. We can see this shit on YouTube, and that is all that we need.
But they wouldn't know the story unless she escaped. So why did they ever let her go? Or how did she get out of there? I missed that part of it.
Right, exactly. One-Eyed Willie style. Somebody had to get out to tell the story. Gotcha.
But, of course, this gives rise to the rumors that some kind of creature may exist within the catacombs. And Zach, of course, ate that shit up. He was like, yeah, I'm not down with just the regular ghost haunting thing. I need something a little darker.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I'll take that story right there. Thank you.
Yes, I will run with that. Is it werewolves? Do I need a silver bullet? Let's go with that.
Demons?
Yes.
Gotcha.
One of those. Has to be. So Zach finally goes down into the restricted area part of the catacombs with a local investigator named Sandy Jones and 2 guides they didn't quite trust. Definitely vet your guides, guys. Let's not go get murdered.
See, again, Ghost Adventures is really bad about vetting their people.
Well, they made it out alive, so it was fine. And Sandy Jones was down for it. It's just Zach and his paranoid ass, was like, I don't know. That guy
don't blame
looked
him.
At me weird. So
Americans,
we're the worst.
Do not trust anybody.
But should we?
No.
So they ran into people while they were down there. It was a huge party. This one guy was like, I could tell you some shit. One time I was down here and I saw a pool of blood on the ground, and everybody I was hanging out with didn't know nothing about it. So of course, Zach is like, yeah, it's the werewolves. Duh.
Duh.
And then he goes about his business, and they move on through the catacombs. And then along their way, they set up a few cameras in certain spots. And so then they get back to where it's like the piles of bones.
Yeah.
They're doing like an EVP session, and then they hear some strange noises off to the side. They also got a laugh, a female laugh, and you can see the Sandy Jones woman. She was the only female down there, and she's in the shot of the camera at the time, and she's not talking or speaking or making any noise. So this female laugh came from somewhere else. Now, about those cameras. 2 of the 3 cameras were stolen, along with the audio recorders that they left behind as well.
Hell yeah. They got some good ass shit.
Free equipment. Like, if I ran into Zach Bagans down there, too, I'd be like, follow his ass.
I know. Assume, Mike. Zoink.
I needed one of those.
Right?
So the one camera that they have left, they review the evidence later, and they find a kind of interesting moment. And then this is why I sent you the video.
Oh.
So about 36 minutes into this video, it's at the end. They're just showing you the evidence from the one camera. What I see is a light moving along the left-hand frame of the video. Well, what Zach describes, he describes it as a figure that he believes he sees wearing a cloak and illuminating a light.
Okay.
It is interesting. But since you cannot see the entire room, like what is behind and everything, you don't know for sure if there's other like hallways or doorways or something that somebody could have come down or through, just never past the frame of the camera, but their light caught the wall there. You don't see that. Now, Zach says it's basically a long hallway, and it would have been impossible for anybody to come in that area without being seen by this camera. That's what he says.
I see. I mean, it does clearly identify almost like a dude coming in, reaching down for something, and then walking away. He's illuminated, and I don't know if that's illumination from the editing process here, where they've outlining him sort of so that you can see this more clearly, but you definitely do see something appearing there on the left-hand side. Looks like he reaches down for a moment and then walks away. And I mean, just from hearing your stories, it seems like those tunnels are very long and deep and hollow, and they go on forever. There could be people hanging out nearby, but they seem to be closer to different rooms that are off of those tunnels. And just from the video that you sent me, which I have seen before, but it's been a while, I don't remember that. And it looks like this shape just kind of appears out of nowhere, almost as if it's like, okay, I'm here. I'm going to get up. Oh, wait. I forgot my ghost booze. I'm going to pick my ghost booze up, and now I'm going to strut on out of here. I mean, that's weird.
It's a cool video, and a lot of the hallways he was going down looked narrow and as if there wasn't any other way in or out. And that's why they put up the cameras, is what they said, is they were, if anybody came through here, you know, we'd know.
Yeah.
They even actually said that it was really fucking strange that their cameras and shit got stolen because they had ran into that party, but it was miles from where they set up these cameras. So they didn't actually expect that any of those people from that party would walk all the way over there to take their shit.
Well, I mean, I don't know many ghosts that steal shit from you, but these people are they know the fucking tunnel systems. They might not know Zach Bagans from any other fucking dude, right?
Right.
They're in France. They might not know Ghost Adventures all that well, but if he comes in there with all of this expensive looking equipment, plus his clothes look pretty fancy too, they might think the guy's got some money. They might follow him. They might pay attention to where he's going, and they fucking know those tunnels. They could have stolen that shit. That makes more sense than it just...
Then, yes, I agree. You know, his being like, that's crazy. They were miles away. But you sat down and did an EVP session where you were at. It wouldn't have taken them that long. You know, you can run a mile in 12 minutes if you try really hard. Some people less. I don't know about like through hallways and shit. But like you said, these people know this area.
Right.
And there's also probably other people coming through there exploring at the same time that could have saw that shit and saw an opportunity.
Yeah, these are like extreme spelunkers. I mean, they've got this place canvassed. They know exactly which tunnel leads where. They could probably do it with their fucking eyes closed. So some American dude comes down there looking all fancy and shit. They're like, okay, I'm going to take that and sell it.
You know, Zach Bagans probably stands out everywhere he fucking goes. Not just like by his looks or everything, just his fucking attitude. Everybody's like, I see you, weirdo. So
he tries to cover it up, but the dude's originally from Chicago, so he's got that going for him. time.
So you can also see the Paris catacombs in the horror film As Above, So Below.
So below.
It was filmed, I think, entirely down in those catacombs, but they definitely did film down there.
Have you seen that?
I don't have to. I watched all the spelunking videos and the urban explorers. Same thing, right?
Right. That's the real stuff.
Also, to go back to Saya's YouTube video, he did have 2 buddies with him that also have their own YouTube channels. They're called Fun for Luis, if he's French, I guess, and Exploring with Josh. So that's all I got for you. Go watch Amy's Crypt and Ghost Adventures.
Oh my gosh. Yes, because the catacombs are fucking amazing. I will definitely be sleeping good tonight because I'll be dreaming about this shit all night long. It's a maze. It's a way to explore, and there's paranormal stuff going on down there. So it's like a paranormal, like, enthusiast's dream come true. There's, well, aside from the rats.
Yeah.
And the people.
I mean, like, part of it, you think, okay, you guys are down here. It could be like when we go to paranormal locations and you run into like-minded people and you're excited about that.
That's cool.
So you could run into people that you're sharing this experience with.
I would absolutely love to go to the catacombs. I mean, I would love to do, like, even the urban explorations, but when we get to the part where there's, you know, the creepy people hanging out or you have to crawl over bones, I mean, it's just, again, it's the paranormal person, it's the spiritual person in me who wants to, you know, connect with these spirits rather than I got to see what's on the other side. I mean, sure, that would be cool and all, but even with Amy's Crypt, it seemed like she got more once she moved past those piles of bones.
Yeah, that was interesting. That she seemed to have more activity outside of that area.
I feel like, you know, you can be respectful and investigate the paranormal at the same time. And the catacombs, oh my God, it's just, you know, people have already gone down there and they're just like, let's make this artful. And there's a heart. And there's stars and a moon. And let's make a cute little, like, Bob Ross with the fucking bone.
Happy bones.
Happy bones.
And then a lot of people have gone down there and not just graffitied the walls and whatnot. They've used the bones in these unrestricted areas to create some kind of art with it. So that's cool and all that people are, I don't know, honoring it in some way, possibly. I don't know if they're just being weird or if that's what they're trying to do. But Amy, I have to say, she did run into people while she was down there, but she ran into the local fire department that was down there running a drill because I guess they have to practice getting in and out of there just in case. She also went during the day. So nice. I think that's our jam is if we're going to do it, go during the day and you might not run into that like party crowd.
Plus firefighters, yes, I'm sold.
Well, it is illegal to be down there, so there is that.
Sorry, I'm just a maiden in distress. You'll have to rescue me.
I fell in this hole and I couldn't find my way out.
Oh, I'm going to pass out again.
We can play it off. You got it?
Yep.
So we'll go during the day and we have to get a good guide.
Zach Bagans has been down there, so.
Oh my God.
Let's just get him.
And then we'll bring Sandy along too because she can speak French. So
yes, please. She seemed like she was totally into it. I've seen the video before, but like when you just sent me the link, I'm like, how long has it been? I don't remember her looking like that. So I really couldn't even tell you how long it's been since I've seen that. But when you first mentioned it, I was like, is she going to mention the Zach Bagans thing? And you said that like one of your children mentioned it to you, right?
Yes. What if he had never said that to me? What if my children ignored me like they always do and I didn't even know and I did this show and you were like, are you not going to mention Zach Bagans? And I'm like, what?
I know, and I would have gotten it all wrong because it would have been like, yeah, he totally caught ghosts and everything down there. I don't remember anything about the equipment getting stolen and stuff. That's just very human and very interesting because people like us, we want to go down into these caverns and we want to explore, but you also have to realize there are also other human beings down there that are just looking to make a buck off of whatever you're going to drop off for them.
Right, yeah. I thought it was silly that he was doing that in the first place, but I also just thought, well, he's probably like, man, it's not my money, it's Travel Channel's. So. And then so they don't get mad at me, I'll spin it like it was a ghost that did it.
And done.
It was a good episode because I liked him doing the history beforehand too, and he taught me how to say a lot of the names. I know that you guys probably don't think if you're from France, then you probably think, nah, bitch, he didn't. It sounded terrible.
If you're from France, you're like, oh my God, this Wendy, she speaks perfect French.
No. No, but he said a lot of the names that I was going to need to say. So that was helpful. Thanks, Zach.
Nice. Thank you, Zach Bagans. But your son bringing in like the most epic part of the whole story.
Yeah. Oh, he helped me, me with that bad Southern accent. My kids don't actually have a Southern accent. They're just blessed. I don't know. But he coached me on how to say some of the stuff.
Aww.
So I asked him if he could just read my podcast for me, but
right.
He said he was busy. So
this is nice. This is actually like a tribute to your child here, this episode. Way to go.
That he'll never listen to.
That he'll never, I mean, until you become famous. And then he's like, well, shit, I guess I got to listen to Mom's podcast now. She keeps telling me blah, blah.
Not even then, Chris.
No. Same here. Don't worry. My kid and husband hear me talking nonstop about the paranormal. Why would they fucking want to download something where
right?
I'm also,
yeah.
I mean, the only benefit there is that in the podcast, I'm not asking him to do something chores-wise around the house. But honestly, this is an amazing episode. The Catacombs are a wild fucking place to go. I mean, Wendy is a spelunker, guys, if you don't already know that. She is a cave exploring machine. She just likes to go and explore things. Like, Wendy's joked about this before. She's like, Chris is going to go ahead of me and I'll stand behind her. But there are some places where I'm like, yeah, nope. And Wendy's like, come on. It's just a dark, creepy cave. So that's why we work so well. So this was totally an episode that you should have done from day one. And amazing that you're getting to it now and your child is like, oh, P.S. You didn't know? I love it.
That was hilarious. I'm going to have to make sure he checks all my work from now on.
I know, right?
All right. Well, that's it. Oh, so that's not completely it. Of course, we have to wrap this up with where you can find us. But we're going to be posting a lot of photos from the Catacombs, and we'll share the link to Zach Bagan's episode and Amy's Crypt episode, and check those out on Instagram. We are COTN_paranormal, and on Facebook and Twitter, we are COTN paranormal. Then you can always drop us a line if you happen to have visited the Catacombs or any catacombs, right, or you just have an amazing paranormal story that you want to share with us. Then you can email us at creaturesofthenightparanormal@gmail.com, or you can direct message us at any of those forms of social media as well. Don't forget, when you're going into dark, creepy places like this, we cannot help you when it comes to the living at all. But
nope.
Totally got your back for the paranormal.
Nice.
We have a shop. We sell spiritual products that can help protect and enhance, and it's called the Spirit Emporium, and you can find that on Etsy as well as our website, creaturesofthenightparanormal.com. And that's it. That is it. Now we're done.
That is it.
Yeah.
That's right, guys. Go get you a spirit board, go into the caverns, and try to communicate with the dead.
Yeah.
And then write to us.
And tell us all about it.
Cool. I loved your story, Wendy. It was perfect. Like I said, you should have. This is your story from the get-go. I'm so glad that you did it, because now I'll sleep good tonight. I'll be dreaming of the catacombs.
Enjoy that.
I love it. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. Cool.
All right. Bye.
Bye.